South Africans embroiled in a visa scam are expected to return home from China today. It's understood they were offered jobs as English teachers, but they weren't provided the correct documents. Now, authorities found out they were making an income using study visas. This is in contravention of China's immigration laws. eNCA's Khayelihle Khumalo joins us live from OR Tambo International Airport. Good morning, Kaya. So these South Africans are expected to touch down on South African soil. Do we know what time they will land in the country?
Well, we can tell you this much. So the plane is due to land here at about 7:30, but already some families inside the terminal, the international arrivals terminal, they're waiting patiently. But more interestingly, there is a case of Miss Tristan Lee Neermand. She's a 19-year-old girl from East London. So she was also part of the group that went to China. So their goal was to go and teach English in Beijing, but unfortunately it turned out that they were using these visas that were not compliant with some immigration laws of China. So they were detained for some time, for about 36 days, and there has been a lot of intervention from the side of South African authorities alongside their Chinese counterparts in making sure that these South African nationals are released and really brought back to the country.
Have their family members or supporters started gathering at the airport?
Yeah, they've all started gathering inside here in Khayelihle. So where we are located for now, we're just going to have an opportunity during the course of the morning of talking to some of the very ecstatic family members. And you can imagine that some of them, they were not sure if at all they will ever see some of their loved ones who were stuck in China for some time. And I mean, when you look at the situation that they faced, it's a very harrowing situation. They got an opportunity, and seemingly it was something that was not really pleasant at all, because they were stuck in China for some time. But also we know that the South African authorities, they've been speaking about the issue of making sure that before you travel abroad, you should familiarize yourself with some of the immigration laws of any country where you're going to. We know that about 800 South Africans are languishing in jail in a number of countries. And we know, for example, the Department of International Relations has been very much cautious to say China has been one particular country where a number of South Africans have been detained for violating some of the immigration laws of this particular country. So it's various offences, varying, for example, from sometimes drugs to the issues related to immigration laws.
So, Kaya, do we have any idea of their well-being, their state of health, for instance?
The families have just been in contact with some of these young people who were stuck in China for a number of times. So they were saying, in terms of the conditions that they were subjected to, those were very not pleasant conditions, and we know the facilities were really not quite conducive for them. So hence now there is a very great deal of jubilation from the side of the families reuniting with their loved ones who were stuck for 36 days to be precise. So it's bound to be a very interesting moment to see all of them reuniting and really rekindling that love just ahead of the Christmas time.
So, Kaya, judging by this experience, how would you say this has affected relations between China and South Africa? Has this caused any tension?
Pretoria and Beijing really do enjoy very cordial ties. You know, when you look at the relationship between these two countries, it's very interesting because from time to time, analysts they will say it's a very strategic partnership. So at this rate, one cannot really say whether has this tainted this particular relationship between these two countries. But of course, perhaps it does call for more review in terms of how they interact with each other. We know from time to time there's always a strong emphasis on people-to-people contact. So if you continue to have such cases, so if the International Relations and Cooperation Department is saying quite a lot of South Africans are being detained in China because of the violation of certain laws or anything to that effect. So surely that really does call for a review in terms of how they interact to each other. So at this rate, though, it would be premature to say this has really caused a dent.
Well, that was our reporter Khayelihle Khumalo coming to us live from Kempton Park.